Hello and welcome to Soap Secrets. Today we're going to kick off with Coronation Street and Claire is here to talk all things Corrie. Hi Claire.
Hi Hannah.
Okay, so we need to cast our minds back, don't we, to the beginning of January, because Faye and Emma were driving home after a New Year's Eve party and they accidentally hit Ted, the very elderly gentleman. They picked him up, he seemed okay, and they took him home and made him a cup of tea. But something then went wrong, didn't it?
Yes. They made him a nice cup of tea, and sadly, Ted died shortly afterwards. So that was the bit that we didn't talk about when we talked about this storyline, because I didn't want to give too much away. But I mean, the fans will know that Ted died shortly afterwards. Now, the pair. And while they were there, this is quite important. While they were in his flat, Emma also opened the door for him to the postman and took in a parcel. But the pair were in big trouble because Faye was the learner driver. She was driving at the time, and while she was sober, Emma, the supervising driver, was over the limit. And that's not okay. It's not okay. Really, you're not even a supervising driver isn't even allowed to look at their mobile phones.
Yeah.
You are, because the other person doesn't hold a qualified driving license. You are meant to be checking the road constantly,
You're their
and obviously
eyes and ears as well as.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
and they didn't report the accident, did they? Either.
No. So that's 2 strikes, I think, perhaps.
But Faye's boyfriend is a policeman, so where's this going to end?
I know, poor old Craig. So didn't report the accident. So Faye's boyfriend. So Craig's been keeping them updated accidentally. He doesn't know that either one of them was involved, but he's been talking about this, and he reveals this week that the autopsy results are in, and the autopsy suggests that Ted was run over, and as a result of the accident, he had a blood clot, and that was what killed him.
And of course, the person that knows they were there is the postie.
Yes, that's why I mentioned the postie, because we have to remember the postman opened the door. Emma opened the door to the postman, and he gives an e-fit picture of a woman, and it looks a lot like Emma. So Emma, as we know, is gorgeous, but she has gorgeous hair, but it's very distinctive with all these corkscrew curls. There is only one Emma with these gorgeous corkscrew hairs, and Craig sort of jokes it looks a lot like Emma. Well, he would do, because he has no idea what the pair had been up to. Will Faye confess all to Craig, because she doesn't want to go back to prison, and we remember she's just come out of prison, and that was she hit Adam Barlow over the head, thinking it was Nasty Ray, if we remember back. That was sort of like autumn 2020, because Ray was sexually harassing her and forcing her to give him sexual favours. It was all very, very nasty. And she went to hit... She saw someone sitting in the bar, thought it was Ray, and accidentally hit Adam. So she doesn't want to go back. But will the police come calling for Emma now they have this e-fit?
I think they might. I think they might. And it's another heart operation story, because it's Tim's heart op due this week.
Yes, it is. And this is why Corrie is so good, because nobody else, I think, would think of doing this. So just as Tim's about to be wheeled into theatre, he's been given the anaesthetic and he's all a bit woozy. His wife said, I'll be here after, I'll be here waiting for you, babes, it's all right. So there he is, he's sort of coming in and out as the anaesthetic takes place. He hears lots and lots of noise and commotion and he doesn't know what's going on. But Sally's been arrested by the police in the hospital corridor.
What has she done?
I can't possibly tell you, but it's a good one. It's a very good Corrie one.
They're so brilliant, aren't they?
I know. So I know what on earth is going on. What has Sally done to get herself arrested by the police?
Oh my God, I can only imagine. Now, Emmerdale, lots of people totally fed up with the Mina storyline. Others, like my daughter, who probably shouldn't be watching it, is loving it. Now, so aside from that, this October Emmerdale celebrates its 50th birthday.
It does, it does. I wanted to bring this up because this is where we're all going to be heading towards October. The producers have promised a golden October of episodes with big stunts and even bigger storylines. So we'll have to keep our eye out for the beginnings of these storylines, because they have to start somewhere. You have to seed them and then they grow, don't they, to the big crescendo, which will be October. And if we remember back in 1972, I know you and I weren't even twinkles in eyes, it was called Emmerdale Farm.
It was. I still want to call it the farm. I still do, really. You know that.
But then it got sort of a makeover and just became Emmerdale, and they dropped the farm.
And they did the new music at the beginning. I remember the old music.
Yes. So it's going to be really, really good. I'm really looking forward to this year with Emmerdale. It's going to be fantastic.
Absolutely. So we'll have to keep our eyes peeled, won't we? Because these storylines are going to start soon to ramp up, I'd imagine.
Yes.
So, okay, this week, is it the end of our favourite couple, Charity and Mack? I do hope the answer is no.
I hope so too. I really, really do, because I think Mack and Charity work really well together. But you know, Vanessa came back at New Year, and I think Mack feels very insecure. I know he's this gorgeous, hunky guy, but you know, sometimes they just feel a bit nervous about stuff. So when Charity arranges a play date with Vanessa for their sons Moses and Johnny to reconnect. And as we remember, they were a family, Charity and Vanessa, and both sons, Moses and Johnny, lived together. So, you know, when Vanessa went away for her cancer operation, stayed with her mum, obviously the boys were separated. So they're getting them back together again, and they have this play date. And Charity's really into it, and she's really enjoying it. She's dressed up a bit as well. I couldn't possibly comment, you know, why would you be dressing up for your ex-partner? Yeah. To ask that question. So Charity's oldest son, Ryan, now he's not her oldest child, that's Debbie, but her oldest son, Ryan, is trying to get hold of his mum, and she keeps rejecting his calls. We've got a theme going in, because we had rejected calls in Holby. So she keeps rejecting his calls, and it turns out that Ryan's adoptive mum, Irene, has died, and he's really, really upset. He's devastated. Now, Mack is really good. Mack is such a kind person. Him and Ryan get on really well. I mean, and we remember Mack was given Noah romantic advice. Yeah. So I think, I know he's about the same age as Ryan. He's not, he steps in and he helps Ryan out, comforts him, and he drives Ryan to his brother's house, which is a nice thing to do, because Ryan was adopted by Irene. So he helps him out. And the next day, when Charity finally discovers that Irene has died, she blows up about why she wasn't told sooner. Well, I don't really think she can do that.
No,
do you?
No, I
Hannah?
don't think so. No, given that the way she's behaved, no, I'd agree.
And Mack feels a full force for anger, so he is cross and he goes out and he gets drunk with Dawn and he offloads his relationship woes on her. So, he's a bit drunk and he's a bit, she doesn't understand me, what am I doing? And as he's walking, Dawn home, he spots Charity and Vanessa looking cosy. So Mack does the thing that really perhaps isn't the right thing to do. In an effort to make Charity jealous, he drunk lunges at poor Dawn for a kiss. Poor Dawn didn't see that one coming, and there's all that beery breath coming towards her,
Oh, grossy.
Love her.
Oh, I don't know. I think that this could be coming to a sticky end, couldn't it?
Well, it could, because Charity spots them, and he did make Charity jealous, and she pulls no punches, and she promptly dumps Mack.
The trouble is, though, is that perhaps she might dump him in the moment, but it might give her clarity on her actual feelings for him, perhaps.
It might do. It might do.
I hope so.
Because I think also, Max got himself into a lot of hot water, because, Billy's not going to like the fact that Mack kissed his girlfriend Dawn either. No, so
agreed. Well, there you go. That's Emmerdale right there. Now, Hollyoaks. Warren, all over the place this week.
Yes. He hasn't been quite right, since evil, now dead Fergus got him thrown in prison. And, Warren's great, I know he's got, I think he's 7 people he's killed now.
Worse than Nina.
Yes. So I have to always think about that because we've had an extra one, haven't we? So after his nasty accident, Honor, Warren's prison psychiatrist, wants an update on his recovery and goes digging in her files where she makes a shocking discovery. What has she found out? Warren's just Warren, and he goes on the warpath looking for his ex Sienna, and when he finds her he makes a big confession as well. Now, what has he said? It is shocking, because I'm a bit worried that Warren might have confessed to Sienna that he ran over and killed Brodie, because that hasn't come out yet. And
the thing is, do we know if Warren's leaving? I mean, that's always what I wonder with these things, because someone like Warren, they don't want to leave, but he's kind of gone down a road of no return where he will have to take a break from the show at some point. Yeah. And he is kind of a sort of person that would be able to take a break, because he's probably wanted to do lots of other things. But I'm wondering whether this is coming.
Yes, not at the moment. There is no gossip on that. So he's got all these confessions, and in a shocking turn of events, he has a seizure, which is most unlike Warren.
Oh, is it? So there's no rumours, but it could be the end for him.
Yeah. They sometimes keep things very close to their chest, Hollyoaks. So I just wanted to say, I was watching last night's Hollyoaks, and it was amazing. We had the fire at the Salon de Thé, as you remember, and we talked about that a couple of weeks ago. And I said there was a shock for the McQueens. And the shock was Silver died last night in the Salon de Thé explosion, and he was left there by his stepson Bobby, who didn't help him out. And we saw amazing scenes of Mercedes crying because her husband was dead. It was so they do like to shock you, and that I found that quite shocking, because Silver, he's surprised he survived Breeder, and he killed her with a knitting needle, and then he died in the fire of the explosion at Salon de Thé. So, and of course, Hannah, Silver wasn't the only character we lost in the explosion. We also lost Celeste, who ran back into the fire to save her brother Toby, and we also lost Marnie, who we discovered had more of a head injury than was first thought, and she suddenly collapsed and died. And despite Misbah's best efforts, they couldn't revive her and save her.
Yeah. And that's not all that's going on. No. Of course it's not. Yaz and Tom, they've got marriage problems.
Yes.
They've not been married for long either.
Well, they've been married for just over a year, but in Soapland, isn't that like a golden wedding anniversary?
Probably. That's very true. One of them hasn't killed each other. And
I think that's a happy marriage, I think.
It's a happy marriage.
We have to say, Yaz makes a big decision. Is it over for the village's perfect pair?
Oh, dear. Already, yes. But like you say, like a golden anniversary. And Luke comes face to face with one of his attackers.
Yes. So we have to cast our minds back. Luke and Hollyoaks did this amazing storyline back when people weren't really talking about this. He was a victim of male rape back in about 1999, 20 years ago. Well, it's a bit over 20 years ago. And so this week, Luke, who is suffering from early onset dementia, he comes face to face with one of his attackers, Stephen McGregor. It is very, very horrible. But now, because of his onset dementia, Luke's early onset dementia, they chat about old times, but does Luke really understand what's going on? Because I don't think he's remembered the attack. So this is horrible, really, isn't it?
It's really horrid. Yeah, really horrid. And I mean, it kind of is something, like you say, that they did before anybody else, really.
Yes, they did. And it's he shouldn't have to face one of his attackers. He just shouldn't. And here he is, not I don't think he's remembered it.
Yeah. Right, and EastEnders. It's a biggie this week because we see Phil dumping Kat.
I know. So Phil's trying to do the right thing. He never does the right thing, does he, Hannah?
No, he can't. He doesn't know how to.
But he's facing life in prison for his involvement in the murder of Kim's husband, Vincent. As we remember, we discovered recently that he disappeared back in 2018, but actually it has since come out that he was murdered by Irish gangster Aidan Maguire, and Phil was involved in this. But Phil's been involved in lots of things, hasn't he?
Yeah, I was going to say, he's never caught up with him before now, really.
He's been involved in so many things. And but this time he got caught because just before Christmas, Jack finally grew a conscience and wanted to give Denise a happy wedding day, and so he took his wife's sister Kim to the police station and told the police all that he knew about the murder, and Phil was arrested. So
but he's dumping her just because he can't bear to tell her the truth.
Yes.
So she's kind of completely bemused by it all.
She is. She doesn't really know what she's done wrong. But in a strange turn of events, Sharon, his ex, several times over, because they've had several goes at a relationship, hustles in and says if he doesn't tell Kat the truth, she will. Can Phil and Kat's relationship be saved?
I mean, I can't think that Kat will stand in judgment of this, to be perfectly honest with you. She's just as likely to stand united with her man, you know?
She's an East End girl, yes.
East End girl.
I do love it though that their exes are banding together against their man. I think.
I know, it's so EastEnders, isn't it?
Yes. I think that's so nice.
It is. No, it's brilliant. It's just totally what they would do. And Gray, more of him this week, isn't there? You know, continuing to control Chelsea, desperately worried about her son. This is not a nice story.
No, it isn't. So poor Chelsea, she is trapped, isn't she? Because little Jordan is in hospital, a preemie baby, and he has health issues, and Gray is just controlling her. He's even really controlling her visits to her son when most parents would be at the hospital 24/7, only coming home to change clothes, shower, do necessary things. So, and he's also angry that Chelsea can't breastfeed because she's on meds for depression, and he guilt trips her into not taking them. So, he's so controlling.
He's awful.
He is. This is really unpleasant. So Witter and Kirat are determined to save her, and Kirat accompanies...
Thank goodness they know. Thank goodness they know. That's all I can say.
So they only know about Chantel.
But one's enough.
Yes. But Witter... So Kirat accompanies Gray to the hospital to visit Jordan this week. So he's trying to get Gray away from Chelsea so she has she can sort of gather things together so she can, become more, get herself more on an even keel, because at the moment she certainly isn't, not with a sick son and a controlling husband. And while they're at the hospital, there's a scary medical crisis unfolding with baby Jordan, and Gray looks guilty and stressed at this point. Will he confess all to Kirat?
I hope so. I fear he might not, but this needs to start unravelling now, I think. It needs to come to an end, surely.
Yes, it must at some point.
Yeah, it's got to sooner rather than later. This needs to stop.
Yes.
That's just what I have to say on the matter, Claire. Well, thank you very much. Another good week in Soapland. We'll be back next week with more on Gray, more on Mina, more on all of these storylines. But until then, have a great week.